Hello students, welcome back. Let us start with the new chapter, which is also the last chapter of your textbooks. This is probability, a very small one. So let's see the topics that we will be covering. The first one is obviously the introduction. The second one is probability and experimental approach. And finally we have summary. Very short, isn't it? So let's start with the introduction. What is probability? Now to explain you what is probability, I have jotted down a few sentences and you will notice something common between these sentences when I underline certain words. It will probably rain today. I doubt that he will pass the test. Most probably, Kavita will stand first in the race. Chances are high that the prices of diesel will go up. So what do you notice about these underlined terms out here? You notice that they are portraying some sort of uncertainty. Uncertainty meaning, see, it says that it will probably rain today. So it may or may not rain today. Then I doubt that he will pass the test. So the person, whoever is interpreting or forecasting whether the person will pass the test or not, he is not sure about that. So there is an uncertainty or not sure. So the result may be positive or it may be negative. Similarly, most probably Kavita will stand first in the race. So the person is again not sure whether Kavita will stand in the race, but chances are high that Kavita might stand first in the race. Similarly, chances are high that the price of diesel will go up. So all these statements, they have something in common, which is uncertainty. So uncertainty, again, whether the outcome would result into a positive thing or a negative thing. So to group all these sentences, there is a common term and it is known as probability. So probability depicting uncertainty. Now this concept of probability, it arose from the concept of gambling. So gambling, there are so many cards that are involved. Every card, it could result into any card could result into you winning the game or losing the game. So now, although it arose from gambling, it is highly used in the fields of medical sciences, physical sciences, then commerce, biological sciences, and most important of all, weather forecasting. So how do you think that the people, you see news, we have weather forecasts, right? So how do they get to know about the weather forecast? It's because of the past experience and by locating the clouds, the geographic, we have satellites and stuff. So the satellites, they give you a picture, and that's how the specialists, they get to know to depict the weather forecasting with the use of probability. So now, since we are done with the introduction, let's move on to certain important terms related to probability. First is experiment. So let's read it out and then I will give you an example. An operation that can produce some well-defined outcomes. So now, an operation, let's say I have a coin. So a coin has two parts, heads and tails. So if I toss a coin, it would result into an output. So, result into some output, well-defined outcomes or outputs. This could be either a head or a tail. Moving on, random experiment. An experiment in which all the possible outcomes are known and the exact outcome cannot be predicted is known as a random experiment. So again, pertaining to this example of coin, we know that the outcomes are going to be head. The outcomes could either be head or tail. Suppose I'm tossing the coin, let's say 3 times. Can we predict? We know the outcome would either be a head or a tail, but can we predict when would we get a head or when would we get a tail? No, we cannot. So this is a random experiment that although we know what the outcome would be, we do not know when the outcome would be a head or a tail. Or even if you have a dice which has 6 faces and you're just rolling a dice, the outcomes could be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. But you don't know, even if you're just shuffling it for once, you do not know whether the outcome would be 1 at the first time or it would be 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 or 6. Moving on, trial. Performing a random experiment is known as a trial. So this is a random experiment when we're just talking about the outcomes and whether this is just a definition of random experiment, but actually performing it is known as a trial. Event, collection of some outcomes of an experiment is known as a trial. So an example related to this, let me just erase some part of the board so I can explain this better. So event, collection of some outcomes of an experiment. So let me explain this to you better. Let's say I have a dice and it has, we know it has 6 faces, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Let's say I am rolling this dice 5 times. Okay, so 5 times. So 1 time, 2 times, 3 times, 4 times and 5 times. At the first time my outcome is 1. At the second time my outcome is 3. The third time my outcome is 1. Then I have, let's say 2, and then again I have 2. The fifth time. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this and this because I got the same output, that is 1. And then I'm going to take 2 and 2. And then I'm just going to take a 3. So you have 3 groups out here. This is the same thing, collection of some outcomes of an experiment. So here our collection is what? Our collection is 1, 2 and 3. Because we have a collection of these numbers. Although 3 has appeared just once, it's still an outcome, right? This is what an experiment is. Similarly, if you toss a coin, it has a head and tail, right? So if you are flipping the coin, let's say thrice, and you're getting head the first time, the second time head and tail. Or let's say you get head, head and head. So what is the event out here? Collection of some outcomes of an experiment. So this is our collection of heads. So this was about the introduction, about probability. We'll move on with the other topics in the forthcoming lectures. Thank you for watching this video.
Hope this video increased your knowledge. For more such videos and a completely free educational content, log on to www.epathshala.org or visit our ePathshala YouTube channel. We have each and every question solved for maths, physics, chemistry and biology. So subscribe our channel, share with your friends, like our Facebook page and follow our Twitter handle for regular updates and important educational tips, and also win ePathshala goodies. So what are you waiting for? Subscribe this channel and enjoy the freedom of education.